Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our April headliners. My name is Jackie Dzelski, and as you can see, we not only had a sellout crowd for this month's headliners event, but there was a waiting list. So some of you were scalping tickets out front. Congratulations if you made a profit off the chamber today. So mayors will be inviting you back next month so that we can have another sellout event. But in all seriousness, these headliners events that we host each month are such an important opportunity for us to connect you all as business and community leaders to the most important topics of the day. So we appreciate you frequent flyers who are with us every month for our headliners events. And for those of you that this may be your first headliner, raise your hand if this is your first Chamber Headliners Luncheon. Fantastic. So we hope we will see you again, but as you can see, you get your reservations in early on that. So with this, before we get on with the rest of the program, I do have two requests of you. One is if you could please silence any mobile devices that you have with you today so that that won't be an interruption to our mayors when they join us here in a few minutes. And then I'd also, now that you've gotten comfortable, ask that you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. You may be seated. I do have a rather lengthy list of elected officials that I would like to recognize on behalf of the Chamber for participating and connecting again with the business community as leaders outright of your own accord. The partnership between the business community and our elected officials and the staff at all levels of government is so critically important to the big topics and issues that we need to tackle together. Of course, our two mayors from our inland cities will be introduced at length here in just a few minutes. But also joining us, we have the Vice Mayor of the City of Bradenton, Pam Coachman, with us, as well as Council Members Marianne Barnaby and Jane Coker from the City of Bradenton. We have Manatee County Commissioners Reggie Bellamy, James Satcher, Misty Servia, and Carol Whitmore. Thank you so much for joining us. Also, I was able to say hello to Manatee County School Board member Mary Foreman. Mary, thank you so much for joining us. Although not elected officials, very important, equally important leaders in government here at our local and state level. Joining us today, County Administrator Dr. Scott Hopes. Thank you so much. Bradenton Police Chief Melanie Bevan. From Representative Tommy Gregory's office, we have Carol Kalenda with us today. And from Congressman Vern Buchanan's office, we have Paige Morrison. So I hope I didn't miss anybody this morning, but thank you so much for your commitment to our community and for your service to us all. I also want to recognize the sponsors of our monthly Headliners event. Their financial support allows us to continue to deliver great content to you month in and month out. Those sponsors are Florida Power and Light, the Mosaic Company, and the Realtors Association of Sarasota Manatee. Many joined us up here at the front, so thank you so much for your ongoing annual sponsorship of this type of chamber programming. And then also to our Chamber Platinum investors. Our Chairman's Circle, we were reporting to our past chairman of the board this morning, an event we had. So I had breakfast with some of you this morning, and our Chairman's Circle investor list continues to grow as we're able to engage even more of you all and your companies, your organizations in supporting the mission of the Chamber at levels even beyond your annual dues. And so our Platinum investors are Brown and Sons Funeral Home and Crematory, Carr Riggs and Ingram, IMG Academy, Manatee County Government, Manatee Memorial Hospital, MCR Health and All Care Options, the Mosaic Company, NDC Construction Company, the Pittsburgh Pirates and Bradenton Marauders. Go Marauders. Happy to have had that season open up. Raymond James Wealth Management, Bruce Body, Sarasota Bradenton International Airport, and South State Bank. So please give them a round of applause in recognition of their investment. We're going to break for just a few minutes to allow the great team here at Pier 22 to start serving lunch so that we can get all of the kind of the noise and the clatter out of the way before we welcome our mayors to the podium. I will not see you again immediately after lunch. Stu Henderson, who is the Vice Chair of Public Policy for the Manatee Chamber, and with Folly Bryant Architecture, will come up and join us in just a few minutes to introduce our mayors. So please enjoy the start of your lunch.
Really grateful that everyone's here. It's a wonderful, wonderful presentation we have today. My name is Stu Henderson. I'm an architect with Folly Bryant Architecture. I'm also on the board, as Jackie had mentioned. We're grateful to have everyone here today, and we're also grateful to work with both of these cities and that we call home. So I have the pleasure of introducing Mayor Shirley Gruber Bryant and Mayor Jean Brown. Over the last several years, the city of Bradenton and Palmetto have undergone an extensive revitalization. From the extension of the Riverwalk and the new construction popping up on Manatee Avenue and Old Main Street in Bradenton, to 5th Street Green Street project, the enhancement to Sutton Park, and the extensive work along Riverside Drive in Palmetto, there's quite a buzz in our two downtown cities. Despite the challenges brought forth by the pandemic and workforce shortage, both cities have been working hard to expand its growing economy. It's hard not to notice that, like it or not, people are flocking to our area to start a business, purchase a home, attend one of the many events, and of course, to enjoy a vacation. So what's next? Well, we're about to find out. Shirley Gruber Bryant is a native of Palmetto, graduating from Palmetto High School. She first served on the city council from 1993 to 2004. In 2008, she was elected mayor. Prior to running for public office, Mayor Bryant worked for 15 years at the Manatee County Property Appraiser's Office as a senior staff accountant and the Community and Employee Affairs Coordinator. She also worked as the Chief Financial Officer for the Manatee School of the Arts. Over the years, Mayor Bryant has served the city she loves in a variety of positions. Currently, she sits on the Sarasota Manatee MPO and the Manatee County Tourist Development Council. She also serves on the board of directors for the Manatee Chamber of Commerce and the Bradenton Area Economic Development Corporation. And Mayor Jean Brown graduated from Bayshore High School. He served 3 years on the Bradenton City Council before being elected mayor November of 2020. Mayor Brown also brings a unique perspective to the mayor's office as vice president and COO of Brown & Sons Funeral Homes and Crematory, where he has served Bradenton since 1989. Mayor Brown serves on many of the same boards as Mayor Bryant, including the Sarasota Manatee MPO, the Tourist Development Council, the Manatee Chamber Board, as well as the Bradenton Area Economic Corporation. So without further ado, please welcome first Mayor Shirley Gruber Bryant.
Thank you, Stu. That was very nice. Well, I was going to go through a few slides that we have, and of course, I have my prompter. Our interim CRA director, Xavier Cologne, and I'm going to introduce my other guests that came with me today. Also, my son, Patrick Bryant, who works in downtown Bradenton, but lives in Palmetto. And I also brought Penny Johnston, who works in my office, and she keeps me straight on a daily basis, or tries to do so. And also, I'll get killed for this later, but some of you may know this last year's 2022 Distinguished Citizen. You might have met him on one of the Farm City tours. Because, as he says, he tells a lot of stories on those, and I've gone on one, so I know that for a fact. But our 2022 Distinguished Citizen, Buddy King. And believe me, I'm going to pay for that later. So we'll start by going through our slides. So as you go into the city of Palmetto, To the right, over to the right, you'll see Connor Park. You may not recognize what it's going to be in the future, but Palmetto, some of our basic premise for our goals, first and foremost, is the environment and leaving it better for the future. So what you'll see is Connor Park is set up, it's improving water quality, stormwater going into the Manatee River. The notion is that the water in Palmetto runs to the south. So the stormwater would go untreated into Manatee River. This will hold, it will cleanse about 70 acres of stormwater. So that will be a huge impact for the environment. It also creates a vital trail asset. As many of you know, the MPO, along with Bradenton, Manatee County, we're trying to work together to pull everything together for a trail system that would connect all of Manatee County and ultimately into the Sun Trail system throughout the state of Florida. So we're all working on that together. There's a lot of partnerships that people don't even realize. And also, Connor Park will help to bring forward a lot of public information about our ag and our aquaculture roots. If you'll look, we also have one of our second, really probably third, I would say, art pieces. It's the Flying Birds, and that's going to be at Connor Park. So that will be rolling out. We're hoping by the end of the year. It may take a little bit longer, but one of the things that a lot of people don't realize that a CRA is to do is to have public art, to try and help identify a community, an area, and the priorities that they have. We did bring we brought a board, an information board. We'd like you to stop and look at it. Connor Park we're so excited about getting that to move forward because just the very, very premise of it, we're hoping that a lot of the schools will use that as an educational tool in the future as they come to see what you can actually do after the fact to try and clean up some of the contamination. It's a brownfield site, so we had to get some federal dollars on that one. So that's what we've been doing. Next slide. What you'll see here is our long-awaited police department, our headquarters. The new facility is about 20,000 square feet. It taps in at about, with all the increasing costs, about $10 million, much more than what we started out at. It really updates and upgrades the safety for Palmetto residents. It has a lot of opportunities there. We broke ground on January 8th. 2022. Our estimated completion is April 2023. And you'll see where we did our groundbreaking ceremony. And I will tell you, there were a lot of Palmetto police officers there. This is long awaited, been awaited for by them. It's very, very critical that we have a nice facility for them to work in. The next slide is a shot of our wastewater treatment plant. As everyone knows, Palmetto is the oldest city. We recently did a rate study and we financed some improvements there. We added a 2 million gallon capacity for our reuse. It improves the resilience of the wastewater treatment plant. It increases the capacity for the retention. It cost us $6 million, which we funded that based on our rate study. The reality is, this is critical not just for Palmetto. It's critical for Manatee County. We're all in this together. We've got to fix those gaps that we have. We've got to bring them together. This is something we felt was critical for all of Manatee County and the surrounding areas to keep the waterways clean. So we are the first in the state to have a certified injection well. So in the wet season, we inject the water down into it, and in the dry season, we have that available. So it's a double-edged benefit. Basically, we're preserving our water, our potable water, while we are also making sure that we have water available for the shrubs and for people to use for reuse at their yards, at their properties. We're at 95% availability throughout the city for wastewater. So all of our residents, 95% of them have that available to them. The next slide is our Palmetto Women's Club. It's over 80 years old. What we're looking to do is replacing the stage and some of the historic features. A lot of people don't realize there actually is a stage in that facility. It means an awful lot to the community. It served in a lot of different capacities through the years. And there's been a lot of weddings taking place there, a lot of receptions, a lot of meetings, you name it, and it's been there. So anyway, we are in the process through our CRA, and it's one of our missions, to preserve historical places, and this was a perfect opportunity. So the bottom picture you'll see is what our goal is. We're moving forward on that, and we've brought in some experts, and we're not experts on this sort of thing, so we've brought in experts to help guide us to what would make that a really good facility, and that will draw many more people to come there and have their events there. So we're going to be working on that for probably a couple of years. It'll take us that long probably to put the whole package together, but we think that's going to be awesome and a huge attraction. The next slide. We're working with the FDOT. We're going to be having what's coming up. It kicks off in August of this year. We're going to have a roundabout just north of Palmetto, where Blackstone Park is, and I know probably you know where that is. It's just north 41. But we've had so many accidents there, and we have a high school senior. We've had other deaths, but we had a high school senior that was killed at that intersection. And that was one of the years that I had a great nephew that was graduating from Palmetto High School. And it's really heartbreaking to see the family walk across the stage to pick up the diploma of their daughter that should have been there. So we made a decision as a community and as a council commission to make a difference. And so I reached out to the FDOT. Interestingly enough, I reached out to LK Nandem on a Saturday. He responded on a Sunday. On Monday, he had one of his traffic engineers reach out to me. So if you don't think the different agencies work together, think again, because we really do all pull together. You know, we have our disagreements, but we get it done. Also on 8th Avenue, there's an awful lot of traffic. We have a section there's no traffic signals between 10th Street and 17th Street. That's a long distance. So we're trying to, we are now working with FDOT to have some type of mid-block crossing. The next slide. This is a big year for us. Palmetto turns 125 years old. So on July 1st, we're going to be having our anniversary, and we're going to have some tours through the historic district. It'll be from 10 o'clock till 2 o'clock, and we'll be sending out some more information on that as we move forward. So one of the things I always invite people to do when they come to Palmetto, stop and visit the Seahorse, because we try to preserve history as much as we possibly can. And that means one of the things is the Seahorse. That was our first piece of public art. So when we first were putting it in, we had an appraisal of $93,000. We just got a new appraisal for $253,000. So it's been well worth the investment, and I think it's attracted an awful lot of people. I know we had an FRA, Florida Brownfield Association, and a Florida Redevelopment Association. We had a joint meeting with them in Palmetto. They all wanted to see the Seahorse, and there was an awful lot of picture taking that day. But one thing, if you get over by there, stop and take your QR reader on your phone and click the code, and you'll see a wonderful presentation about all the history and why the significance of that Seahorse being there. It was during the time that before Summer Smith went to the station she is now, and she really did that presentation for us. So it's very professionally done, nicely done, and it incorporates all the different the historical facts about it. So basically, that's where I'm going to cut off, because I think we'll probably have some questions about maybe housing or something like that. So, I thought, well, I'll just save that and let y'all ask. So with that, hopefully y'all will have some good questions for us, and give all the hard ones to Mayor Brown.
Thank you, Mayor Bryant. And over the years, and when I started in the politics part of this world in 2013, one of the first people I met and talked with on the boards we were on was Mayor Bryant. And it's a pleasure working with you through those years, and it's a pleasure working with you now. And I really appreciate the friendship we have, and it's been a great mentorship to me also. So thank you for that. Kind of starting out, I'm a little overwhelmed here that this room. Been to a lot of these, and I'm very proud that Mayor Bryant and I could do this today and being in this room with all of you. But just to start out, I'd like to ask all of our city staff that's here, because it's important. This is our team, and this is what we're going to do for our future with the council. We go through things, and obviously being a councilman for 7.5 years, learned some of that process, and now as mayor. But it's about your team. And without this team, we couldn't do what we do. So I'm going to ask all of our staff to stand up that we came today. And thank you. And again, it's something that people realize in the business world, and that without your team, you're nothing. And so we appreciate what they do. I've got kind of the Fab Three here with me today as far as our council women. And it's a historic in a lot of ways over the years, is with the council women that are there now. And we're building that cohesiveness on our council and together, and really trying to project what the future is going to be, because we set policy and do things on the council, and then let the staff jump on board and go. So I'd like to thank Vice Mayor Coachman, Councilwoman Coker, and Councilwoman Barnaby in her second round, which we like that. So for being here today, and thank you for what you do for our city and put your time out. So thank you. And then I can't let Shirley have as much trouble when she goes home tonight with somebody, but Buddy's a great guy, and obviously being our citizen of the year is great. But and I don't get to do this a lot, but my wife Gina. She allows me to do it in that way, but it's funny, we laugh about it. But she doesn't want to come to things, but in some of the emotional parts of things that you get through, and issues that you deal in families and stuff, it's a great thing to be able to have that support to do this, because it's one of those things. She doesn't like when I say it, but I don't need to be here. I want to be here for our community, and that's important. So as we go through, I just want one other thing, and kind of talk about our administrator, Rob Perry, who's been in here 8 months. We had a great administrator that's in this room today for 25 years in the city of Bradenton, a lot of departments, and Carl Callahan. But all good things come to an end, as we go, and in retirement and that, and it's a good thing. But I think our council came together and picked a great man that's leading us into the future, and has been here about 9 months now. And one of the things to me, when Rob came in, is actually working with him and going through things, is I gave him about, 6 or 8 weeks, and then I came in and I said, Rob, we need a $200 million infrastructure plan. And he kind of looked at me and thinking, oh crap, what job did I just take? But I was saying it kind of, aggressively, but coming back. And part of the reason that I said that is because our city is aging out at times in infrastructure and things we need to do and what we need to work through. And, most of us in this room, if you were here in the last 25 years, you know what happened, when things went. And some of the things in the past we can't control. It is the past. But to me, it's how we look forward and build on what we have. And one of the things that Rob came up with in time was a CIP plan, capital improvement plan, and it's $50 million. And it ties a bunch of things in when you look at it. And, it's not selling City Hall. It's developing our urban core. And what do we do to develop our urban core? in a way that will progress our city in smart growth, environmentally, everything that you go through. And in that CIP plan, the first part of it, we've approved. We're kind of taking it in chunks. And as you go through, the council approved a couple weeks ago the first part of it. And that is improving our stormwater and wastewater treatment plan. And as you go through that, there's a lot of things that we're going to have to do for our environment and some regulations that all municipalities and counties are going to have to do by certain times. But the city of Bradenton, through this first part of the plan, is going to be able to use the ARPA money to get that plan started and be ahead of the curve. And that's one of the things, there's a lot of ways to use that money. And whether we all agree whether that money should be coming or not, we're going to use it in a way that hopefully will actually, produce something now that will last a long time, and the people that are going to be paying for it, our grandchildren, will actually get benefit of it. And I think that's the way that we look at things, how we're going to progress for the future. A lot of other details in that plan that are coming out, going to be coming up, more workshops in that. But the most important, I think what a lot of people in this room want to listen to, is about our City Hall property. And, one of the most important properties in this city that is the future, and what the development goes. And you've heard a lot of things about that. And again, I was around 22, 23 years ago when it all came. And, that's maybe was the right time, right place for everything where our city was. But now our city is in a place that we are bursting and ready to go with smart growth and come up. Mr. Perry and his staff has gone through a process that's very important of how we do and what we do to make sure it's transparent and open to the public. And that's going to be coming up as we go. But when you can say, and this is synopsizing what's going to happen, to put down a $300 to $400 to $500 million plan there that will bring development of maybe 50,000 square feet of retail, apartments, condos, hotel development. And, it's going to be the growth of what we're going to do to bring it in, have the council workshop through it, and go at it. So a lot of those things is how it's going to develop. In our city right now, there's probably close to $1 billion worth of developments talking around the whole city of what it's going to grow to and go. And I can go on for that forever, but that's just one of the things that's going to really starting to see it. And you're going to see a building coming down soon that's in workforce and affordable housing. We could talk about that. I know Mayor Bryant said it. But one thing that I do want to note to everyone is that in the city of Bradenton, am I going in the right direction, Jeannie? Yes, okay. City contributions for attainable and workforce housing over the last couple of years has been over $5.5 million that the city CRAs have contributed in different ways, whether it's monetarily, with loans, different things. And it's over 681 apartments, condos for people to live in. So when you're looking at it, we are working. And, I don't like to challenge a lot, but I'd like to challenge other cities around the state to show me who's doing that much. And there's different ways to do that. And that's going to be something that I think you're going to see a lot of. We know we need 20,000 in this county. We can't build them all in the city. And I know our county commissioners are here. And a couple of weeks ago, we had a great meeting between the city and the county. Again, working together, coalitions, doing things that are actually going to progress. And if anybody in this room knows me, timing-wise is, in the business world, you make a decision, you do it, and you go. In the government world, you make a decision, then 6 years later, you talk about it, and then you make another decision. But, it's one of those things that you just keep working through it and you keep trying. So, there's a lot of opportunity out there, and almost everyone in this room, that I look at, there's relationships with, whether it's Realize Bradenton, that is one of our best organizations I think that the city has worked with over the last 12 years to do things to promote our city. And again, we can't do it all in-house. You have to have people out there working together, whether it's our LECOM Pirates Marauders that we work with. And I'm going to forget somebody, so apologize, but there's so many people in this city that are working together for that next step. And I get excited about it. I get, passionate about it. I'm always not the best explainer of a lot of things, but what we're doing is that to keep the working togetherness part of it. Next slide. Okay, obviously tourism and the transportation and the things we do. We're just coming off our river regatta, $11.4 million influx in the city in one day for economic impact. So, when you talk about those things, you want to have these events. I'm an events guy. I'm going to apologize to our staff now and some of them that have to deal with it. It's a lot of extra work, but you know what? That's what promotes our cities and our counties. Palmetto, the Tourist Development Council, the County Commission have really bought into that regatta. So we'll begin the 8th year, and it's basically a combination of all of us working together to make it work with all of the departments. Obviously, you go through a lot of the other things that we're doing. We talked about the Pirates, we talked about that. Our Riverwalk East, we've got an award-winning Riverwalk here, 1.5 miles. Heard something the other day, I didn't realize Tampa's is like 20-some miles, but ours, we got what we got. And so, got to do it. And we're extending it 1.5 miles. Talked about that a lot today, of how that's going. On September 10th, we're going to have a grand opening of Riverwalk East, the park there, and so it's coming. It's a lot of things that are going to continue, but we're also going to continue to grow. We've heard about other development. It's exciting in the city of Bradenton, and we're doing a lot of things as far as downtown, but it's also going to make our outside of downtown very viable. Moving on, Jeannie, to the next one. Yeah, and one of the things that came to me not too long ago. I sometimes wake up early and start thinking about things. We've got to look at the way our town is the glass is half full. Whenever you usually see a glass of water, milk, we got to have orange juice in Bradenton, so glass is half full on that part of it. And, realize Bradenton through a grant, the Knight Foundation did a great job of coming up and Here's to Our Fair City. We've got a song and, basically saying that this city will continue to grow on, and it's about what it's about. If you haven't watched the YouTube, go on the site and watch that. Our Fair City local gentleman sang it here. Have Gun Will Travel, and I think the chief said that. Have I been talking for 10 minutes? No, so I can talk a long time, but and I'm more of about a question guy. So give you the information, tell you about the questions, and then go through it. But we just really, I think one of the biggest things in this city that we're going to continue to do is be positive and kind of put stuff out there, and it's coming. So, yeah, there's one more slide. I know that's my fun with Palmetto. So we're coming up, but no, it's going to be really the goal is we've got a great council. We're going to start really going through it. We've got obviously one of the best staffs in the county. Say it because I can right now. But we're going to keep working through that. But going to kind of end it on the last slide before we get questions. Okay. We know what connects us in Palmetto, the Green Bridge. So, it's been talked about in previous mayors and that, and I'd like to thank Stu Henderson for pulling this together at the last minute for me. But this is what, the growth and how we're going to continue to connect our two cities is, go ahead, Jeannie, we're going to turn it green. So we've got to really work that and just keep building and the connectivity and the combinations of things and really enjoy it. So I know there's a lot of other stuff out there, and in 10 minutes it's hard to give much, but I did know today that things were serious because there's one person in this room I've known since I was very, very young, and he's got long pants on today. So I haven't seen him, and Doug Huffman, he has his shorts on every day at the council meetings, and today I'm thinking he must be going somewhere that's important, and it was it. So I appreciate you putting on long pants for me, Dougie. So thank you, and I guess Mayor Bryant will come back up, and if there's any questions that I can't answer, she's got them. Okay, raise your hand. No questions, we'll move on. Oh. Yes, sir.
We've had some challenges with labor for some of the services, particularly like the trash pickup, yard waste pickup. Is that getting any better in finding the labor that we need in the city?
Yeah, in the city of Bradenton, we obviously pick up our own. We have a collection group that works, and we've had a lot of challenges with it, not just that, but we have worked through our council to actually bring up the salaries, get the monies up, and I think it's getting better. But unfortunately, when you've got companies out there that probably a lot less stressful type of work that are paying similar or even more money, and we all know Amazon, 4 or 5 deliveries to a house in a day. same people. It's a lot less work than picking up garbage. So, but it's getting better. And obviously the city of Bradenton, we worked through a plan to try to adjust our recycling, which is going to start in the summer. So we're hoping to improve on recycling with the commodity market and all that, but there's a lot of opportunity, but we will readdress that as we go down the road. But no, it's getting a little better, but I think for everybody in the labor market, it's tough.
Sorry. One of the things that we have experienced, we went ahead, we were trying to be really progressive. We went ahead and went to the rates. We raised all our rates to the 2026 point so that we could hold on to our employees, that we could recruit new employees. And so I think we're all experiencing that's not doing it. So, we're trying to come up and evolve with different incentives and different programs all the time. I know Manatee County is coming up. They have a job fair coming up. We have one coming up the 14th, and at City Hall. So we're hoping to recruit some other people, but the salaries are there, the jobs are there. So hopefully we need to get the word out, because we can't go to our residents and say, well, we can't find people to do the work. We can't do that. So we've got to come up with other ways to really recruit them. So I think maybe through the chamber we can have some further discussions about, and infuse some of those ideas into each one of the different communities, because that's really a tough call. And I really sympathize with the city of Bradenton in the sense that, they actually do their garbage pickup themselves, because I've heard many times that some of the other carriers they have their administrators going out on the trucks themselves. So it's very difficult for the municipalities and the county government.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Brown, I just want to thank you for working with Manatee County. I never give up. I want to thank you for working with us on the homeless situation amongst other affordable housing. We're going to learn from you, because you're right. We need to follow some of the issues the ideas that you have regarding affordable housing and workforce, and also for having an open mind to look at our major homeless issue that we have right now. And unfortunately, it's in your area right now. So hopefully we can all work together and come up with ideas. I just wanted to thank you.
Thank you.
For pushing, because you aren't giving up, and I know, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'd like to make one comment. I don't know that a lot of people are aware. Currently, there is a project going on Haven Boulevard, and there's it's 62 and over affordable housing. There are 224 units that they're going to be completing on Haven Boulevard. So just to make you aware. And there's also a project that a developer brought forward. It's just north of Palmetto at Holy Cross Church, and just behind that, and it's approved, the whole 9 yards. It's a very affordable plan that they've submitted, gotten approved. It's only for 87 units, but it's 87 units of affordable housing. So we're hoping to get that back on the street and bring that forward, because we certainly need that housing.
And I think one part of the housing is we're doing an 80 unit downtown with a developer on 9th and 6th. But 5 stories. Well, we ask them, why can't we go up to 8 stories and get more housing out of that? Which it would, it seems like it would be less expensive at the time. But there's some regulations that you can't. And Congressman Buchanan is looking at that to come up if, things change in November, that maybe opportunities where they can say, let's put some of that tax credits in that where you can go higher. Because we know in downtown areas, there's no more land. We have no more land in the city of Bradenton really to build out. The county does, but people don't want to be as far out. But we can build up, and that may be some opportunity to say instead of 5, let's have 8, and you add 40 more units there. And that does help our police officers, our firefighters, our teachers, our nurses. You put them in the area that they can not have to drive as much. And one of the biggest things, and we didn't talk much about traffic at all. Maybe I shouldn't bring it up. Nobody's
What are you thinking?
Nobody's thinking about it, But when you talk about opportunity to develop your urban core in density with height, you hopefully will bring the rest of the amenities that you need downtown that people won't have to get in a car. Because if you think of most of the people that we see on Manatee Avenue and 6th Avenue aren't stopping here. They're going from east to west or west to east. And we want them to stop here and spend their money and then go out somewhere. But when you really look at it, if we can build more downtown, you can walk over that beautiful green bridge, eat dinner over there, walk back. You can go grocery shopping. You know, obviously, grocery store needs people. You know, so that's the part about density and height and putting the right product in the right place at the right time. And Mr. Perry came up with this: if not now, when? You know, the opportunity is now for our cities to grow. And how we grow is going to be important, but it's also going to be working together with all of you in this room, because we know that it is, I don't know if I keep cutting out, but the best chamber in the world. And it's been recognized as that many, many times. I think there was a question here first and then back there.
Talking about traffic, is there any plans for any flyovers at Manatee and First Street and Sixth and First? I'm in Fort Myers all the time. They're wonderful flyovers there. Why don't we have any here?
I know through the last several years of being on, and we can't talk a lot about certain things being on the MPO board, and there's some other MPO board members in here, but there's going to be opportunity for some of that to come back again. There's going to be some opportunity for some alternate routes and different ways to come back, I think, soon again. Because we have to do something, you know, and 30 years ago, if they'd have put a bridge in, we wouldn't be talking about this as much. But as an elected official, sometimes you have to make some decisions that aren't always as popular, but conversation is going to be coming up soon, if you have anything for that.
I kind of want to step back to the previous subject just a little bit, but the same general area. Several years ago, can you hear me? Several years ago, the nice spot in it. Several years ago, the MPO did a presentation.
Oops, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
It's working at the moment.
Okay. Did a presentation. They asked all the municipalities and the county and everyone to bring forward their different concerns. But what everyone brought that was the same from every different agency was the fact that they were trying to plan for housing that was close to the workplace to prevent so much traffic. And to what you were alluding to earlier, I know the county commission has been discussing that about increased densities in the urban core. And I think that's exactly where we need to go. We need to have maybe some presentations to all the commissioners and all the different city councils and so forth to make sure that everybody understands the necessity for making that exception, for increasing the heights and increasing the densities in the urban core, because everybody recognizes that's what you need to do, but we're not doing it. So far, we're not doing it. We hear it, but we're not doing it. So I think we have to work harder with our elected officials to help everybody understand, even though I am one. So, thank you.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I think we're at now. It's that next step of the increasing the density and the levels that you bring people down. Because if you look at the cities around us, you know, we don't want to be just like them. We want to be like us. But when you look at Tampa, you look at Sarasota, you look at West Palm Beach, their cities are actually better throughout now that their downtowns are thriving. And that's what you see. And that's what we have to figure out, you know, what to do and figure it out pretty quickly. You know, if we can, if you don't like it, you can kill something by just keep filibustering, but that's not what we should be doing. And, you know, when you have an opportunity, this is one of the things, when you have an opportunity on a riverwalk and land that the government owns, it's time to get rid of it. But it's time to still keep your services that you have. You know, there's other city locations that aren't owned by the city, that's owned by the county. And that came up at that meeting. And when you look at something that, you know, you may sell a piece of property that may not get you as much out of it as you think, but when you look at the economic impact of the hundreds of millions of dollars that it can bring in, you know, you build something for 400 million, and you know, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I talked to our property appraiser, said figure about 2%. Well, we all know what 2% of 400 million is. And if you can bring that in, when right now that government dinosaur there is bringing in zero, you can build a lot of stuff with that, and you can develop your core. And that's, to me, what it's about. It's how you make that happen and how you do it in a smart way. I don't want a 50-story building there. None of us do. Work within your codes and work within your processes. So, thank you.
There was
Oh, there's a question back there.
Do you have an update on the hotel next to the convention center? It's been kind of stagnant.
You know what? I have to shake your hand because I was hoping that would come up. Absolutely. They've had the groundbreaking. It's moving forward, gangbusters. And one of the things we're waiting right now for is for the approval on the 7th Street light. It went out to bid for that project, and that's going to add an awful lot to Palmetto and to the convention center. But that's one of those projects that everybody was working together to make it happen. During the throes of everything, we had probably a dozen people. We had conference calls every Thursday, trying to make sure that everything was in play with the FDOT, with Manatee County's transportation, with our public works, with our attorney, the county attorney. It's really coming together, and you'll be seeing a lot more about that in the signs out and everything. So we're really, really excited, and I think that's going to really make the convention center blossom and really come to fruition like it always was intended to be. We've waited for 25 years to actually have that hotel to complement the convention center, because that's what's really going to make it the success it should be.
And that also definitely complements both cities and the county. You get that vibrant part there, and there's going to be enough to do in both cities when all of a sudden, if you could have, as big as the convention center is, what they're going to be remodeling that, you're going to be able to have a lot of people come to our city and still be able to do things around. And I'm going to bring it up, Dr. Hopes, water taxi, so we're the county, and that was one of the things that I thought, and talking with Mayor Bryant over time, that, Palmetto and Bradenton back and forth takes traffic off the road. To the island, takes traffic off the road. That went out for bid, didn't get any bidders, so now there's even a greater opportunity for the county to figure out how to do it. And I think sometimes you look and say, oh, it failed. No, it didn't fail. It's a great opportunity to go to that next step and to do it how we want it, and even maybe make it better from the standpoint with the county and traveling a lot of the people that need to get there but don't need to get on the road, and workers and things. So we're excited about that. Now continue going, just a hiccup in the road, but no pressure, county commissioners. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, and my guess is both mayors will stay if there's some additional conversation and discussion to have with those of you that are here. So I typically know that we're all able to glean not just information about the topic today, which was the state of our two inland cities, but other takeaways. One of which is if it's not working, you don't smack it. I guess you recharge its batteries. So that was a big lesson for me today up here. But also, and we've had this comment in different ways, and I think even of our police chief here sitting to my left, we typically at the retreat every year for the Chamber's leadership, we have a law enforcement panel, and one of the major takeaways each time we get our Chamber leaders together to hear, in this case from law enforcement, one of the most gratifying things is the camaraderie that they have together, in this case between the sheriff's department and our police departments across the cities. I think we see the same today between our two cities and the mayors, and how lucky are we to live in a community in which the county, our 6 cities, and so many other partners can come together to see the glass as half full, and to realize that if not now, then when, and what potential we have to be aspirational in how to take advantage of this market and this opportunity that we have to live, work, play, and own businesses in paradise. So thank you so much to all of you for your attention today. I have just a couple of wrap-up announcements, one of which is reminding you that headliners happen every month. So we expect to sell out next month as well. We'll be welcoming the campus presidents and CEOs of our higher educational institutions for a discussion on higher education's role in addressing workforce needs, not just now, but for the next generation. So we'll welcome Dr. Karen Holbrook with the University of South Florida, Sarasota Manatee campus, Dr. Michelle Morgan with Kaiser University, Dr. Patricia Oker with New College, and of course, Dr. Carol Probstfield with State College of Florida, who's with us here today as well. So we hope you'll make your reservations. We'll be at IMG Academy Golf Club for headliners next month. And then tomorrow, for those of you that hopefully didn't show up at the port last week when it was pouring down rain, for the first time in 29 years, Kim, we had a rain out of Ship Shape Showcase. I would like to call it something else after last week. But tomorrow we will have more than 60 of your fellow chamber members with booths at the port, lots of free food, music, entertainment, a new microphone, and I hope you'll join us at Port Manatee tomorrow. No charge to attend. We have almost 500 reservations, as I understand it, for our event at Port Manatee. You all are welcome to join us, even if you didn't make an RSVP. And then one important deadline, Monday, this coming Monday, is the deadline for nominations for the Chamber's 8th Annual Champions of Healthcare Awards. That event, that a really important community celebration of the many individuals and businesses, organizations, philanthropists, elected officials that are making a difference in the health of our community, is coming back after a 2-year hiatus because of the pandemic. Nominations for those 9 different awards, one of which is a scholarship for a young person volunteering in a way that impacts healthcare in Manatee County, is Monday. So ManateeChamber.com, our homepage, has the nomination packet. It is not an onerous task to nominate someone for those awards. I hope you'll do that because we can put on great events, but if we don't have anybody to call on stage to give an award to, then what are we going to do? So that event is June 16th, but Monday is the deadline for nominations. So with that, thank you so much to our headliner sponsors, to all of you. Have a great afternoon.